Real quick, there are two handouts in the back of the room. One is a current, I guess, status of where we're at with the coaching education program and what's in the annual guide, outlining the new requirements. And second, there's an FAQ sheet that goes along with it that would probably answer a lot of questions that you might have going into the presentation here. Well, it looks like we cleared the room out pretty good. But my name is Mark Tabram. I'm the director of the coaching education program, and I have 6 people up on the stage with me today, and I just want to introduce them. Mike McMillan, who's our national coach-in-chief and coaches section director. To my left, Dan Brennan, who's manager of the coaching education program. Matt Cunningham, who's coordinator of the coaching education program. Allison Rains, administrative assistant with the program. Ty Newberry, who's district coach-in-chief for Southeast District. And Keith Blaze, former USA Hockey staff person and founder of Flex Coach. We've put a PowerPoint presentation together here, and Allison's going to click through it if we can here, if we can get it up on the screen. But there are 5 areas that we're going to talk about, and then open it up for questions at the end. And those 5 areas are the new requirements, and give you an overview of the program right now. The changes that we're currently making within the program, which would be our CEP manuals and how they fit into the clinics themselves, our clinic PowerPoint presentations, the online age-specific modules, which myself and Keith Blaze will talk about, and then the delivery system and the usahockey.com changes, and Allison Rains will touch on that. So from there, I guess I really want to give you an overview of really how and why we got here, and talk about really the past program and why we needed to make, or we thought we needed to make these changes. And it really came about within the coaches section. I definitely want to thank, all the district coaches and chiefs for all their input, their help, their guidance to where we're at right now. But really the program that we had the last 11 years when we put it together, we had a mandate that we needed to have a program in place, and we put this program in place, and there's no doubt about it, it worked. It worked for 11 years, but at the same time, were there flaws to it? Was there, areas for improvement? Definitely yes. And I think what has happened is the ADM is, the implementation of the ADM has really forced us to rethink how we do business. And by sitting down as a section and taking in the ADM thoughts and philosophies, we came up with a program that we think is a much better program than what we currently had. Because in the current program, based upon what level you were coaching, you needed to have a certain level of certification. So if you were a Pee Wee coach, you needed to have level 3 certification. So a coach would come into our program as a first-time coach, and we would ask that coach to be level 3 certified, and they'd have to jump through 3 hoops in 1 year. And they really weren't, in our opinion, getting the practical experience that should be going along with education. They were jumping through 3 hoops, going to the 3 clinics, and okay, they're ready to coach. And the one thing we were hearing from coaches is, I coach Bantam hockey. How does this help me? Everything we just talked about in the clinic, how does this help me? And there's some truth to that in the curriculum and the model that we had. So as we sat down as a section and started putting our heads together, we came up with a program that, first and foremost, I want to say, we took the current chart that we have and we blew it up and really started brand new. And we looked at it and said, all right, we need to keep the clinics in place. So we still have levels 1 through 5 in place. Levels 1, 2, and 3, we're treating differently than what we treated in the past, in the sense that we're treating it more like a college course. So a level 1 would be like a 100-level class. Level 2 would be like a 200-level class, and so on with level 3. So we're really giving general information at level 1, 2, and 3, but building upon it as you proceed through the program. So we're giving them general knowledge of hockey. And then the other side was, as the coach was saying, how does this help me? I'm coaching Bantam hockey. Well, we wanted to give them something very specific. So that's how we came with the online age-specific modules. And as you heard Joe Doyle say, you know, we've taken information and put into these modules that are very age-specific. So we have 5 modules that we're putting together right now, and those 5 modules are 8 and under, 10 and under, 12 and under, 14 and under, and then we combine 16 and 18 together. And what we've done is we've created, I believe there's 13 chapters. I know Keith will touch on that when he speaks here, but it's very age-specific. We want to give that coach everything they need to know about an 8-year-old, everything they need to know about a 10-year-old, whether it's on the ice, off the ice, whether it could be sleep, nutrition, you name it. We want to give them everything they need to know. So now we feel we're giving them, the coach, a program where they're getting general hockey information in the clinic, and then we're giving them a very age-specific module that's tied into the level that they're coaching. The other thing we've done is we've slowed the process down. So where before you could jump through 3 hoops in 1 year, now you can only take 1 clinic a year. So we've slowed that down completely, and then based upon the age level that you're coaching, you'll have to take the module that coincides with that. So when you look at the big picture, I think we have a much better program in place, and in the end, I think that if the coaches are passing down to the players, you know, that age-specific information that we're passing along to them, we feel we're going to get a better player, and again, a lot of the ADM materials are tied into the modules themselves. To give a quick overview, and I'm just going to touch on a few of the bullet points that are in the handout, and as you see on the screen, these requirements are obviously for all coaches, whether you're a head coach or an assistant. The one difference from the past is the district or the affiliate had the ability to make our standards tougher. Now what we've done, these standards are across the board and will not be changed, so everyone's playing by the same rules, so to speak, when it comes to what the requirements are. In regards to levels 1 and 2, now they're only good for 1 year. So now we're saying to a coach, all right, you come into our program, you take level 1, you take the coinciding module. The following year, you move up to level 2, and if you're still coaching at the same level, you don't need to take the module. If you change levels, then you have to take a module that coincides. When you get to level 3, there's some changes that come into play then, in the sense that before it used to be good for 3 years. Now we're saying level 3 is good for 2 years, and then you have some variation on what you can do. So once you've attained level 3, we're going to say that's going to take 3 years. 1, 2, and then the 3rd year you take level 3. Then you have a 2-year window of what you want to potentially do. With that said, you can go online and take our level 3 recertification program, and we have 2 tracks. So you could take track 1, and then you have 2 more years. You could take track 2, then you have 2 more years before you have to move up to level 4. So what we're saying is really now, if you're not coaching at the Tier 1, Tier 2 at 14, 16, and 18 national tournament-bound teams, as is on the slide there, those coaches need to move up to level 4 in their 4th year. They have to go in consecutive years to get their level 4. But for the other coach, if you're going to stay in our program, we're giving you a 9-year window before we make you move up to level 4. And I really don't have a problem personally with that, because level 4 to me, it's an expensive proposition. You know, they can range anywhere from, you know, $150 to $300 depending on what part of the country you're in, you know, whether we're in the city, at a hotel, whatever the case might be. So, you know, when coaches have to travel to go to a level 4, there's a fair amount of dollars that sometimes are spent. But if you're going to be in our program 9 years, I really don't feel that bad at that point if you have to move up to level 4. The grandfather clause, and I'll touch on that briefly here, is all the coaches that are currently in our program, they're going to come into this new program as they are. If they're a level 3 coach, if they're a level 4 coach, they come into the program as is. But then they will follow the requirements, you know, once they're into the program. The one difference for a level 4 or a level 5 coach, we've said in the past, for the last 11 years, that once you've attained one of those levels, or either one of those 2 levels, you're good for life. Well, that wouldn't be the case now, because now we're going to ask them to take a module that coincides with the level that they're coaching. And again, I think that's a positive thing. It forces them continuing education, and hopefully is going to make them, you know, a better coach as well. So there's a bit of a difference there. The modules are going to run through September 1 through December 31st, and then we're shutting the program down. So in the past, you know, coaches, depending on some districts, allowed coaches to take a clinic after January 1st, and then they become eligible again. So really, by shutting down the modules come December 31st, a coach is either going to be eligible or they're not at that point. And I think it's pretty self-explanatory at that point. If they don't have everything up to speed, they'll be removed from the bench and would not be eligible to coach. And I'll just touch on the clinic fee structure. We've changed that from what we had in the past. In the past, we had a $30, $40, and $50, I guess, price tag for levels 1, 2, and 3. Because we're treating levels 1, 2, and 3 very similar now, we've come up with a $40 fee across the board, and for the modules, it would be a $10 fee for that. And that's our pricing structure going into the current season. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mike McMillan. He's going to talk to you about how we've, I guess, changed, reformatted, edited our manuals that coincide with the clinics. So, Mike?
Thanks, Mark. I'm going to touch on manuals, and then at the end, Mark, let's also talk to the group about implementation as it relates to what we're doing with our staff too. So make sure that all the members and districts and affiliates know how it's going to roll out, because that's going to be exciting as well. What's going to happen right before September 1st. Well, let's talk about the manuals a little bit. First of all, I want to talk about the committee that we put together for the manuals to rewrite and restructure those. Ty Newberry to my right was on that committee, myself. Joe Doyle from ADM Regional Manager was also on there. Dan Brennan as a staff person. Big thanks to Allison, who was part of that group as well, and Dana Osick, who is putting those together as we speak, getting ready for our rollout in September. So it took a lot of staff and a lot of volunteers to put the manuals together and redo what we thought was actually a pretty good documents that we had. So the committee evaluated all the documents, all the manuals that we were currently using to see what we needed to do moving forward. Did we need to just, you know, do the new front cover and say, okay, this is good, or do you need to rip them apart and change the structure? So we did that. We pulled the manuals together, looked at them, and basically what we did is we found out most of the information in there met long-term athlete development, with some pretty good coaching principles, but we found them fairly big, fairly cumbersome, and difficult for the coaches, the youth coaches that go to our clinics to get through them, especially when we're rushing them through 1, 2, and 3 in 1 year. So basically what we did is we took the skill development one, which used to be the old initiation manuals, and now that will be the level 1, but it'll look nothing like the level 1. So or nothing like the skill development manual. So we took the instructor's guide, took our old level 2 and our old level 3 and kind of restructured all of that information into 3 distinct 1, 2, and 3 manuals. The manuals will be progressive in nature. They'll go from 1, 2, and 3 and be different information as you proceed through the coaching education program. The manuals will also follow the curriculum that the instructors are using in the classroom. So when you're in the classroom for level 1, the level 1 curriculum that you'll be going through will match the chapters in the books in the level 1 manual. So that'll be very nice. So in a lot of respects, we're slowing down the process, but enhancing it at the same time when you include the modules. So we're excited about that. And you got to remember, what we're doing in the CEP program and what we're doing with the manuals is basically a general foundation for coach, for the education process. And so we expect them to get more. We've incorporated the ADM into all of our manuals with practice plans, windows of optimal trainability, and the long-term athlete development model. We've also included hyperlinks into the module, into the manuals. So we'll be linking to some pieces that maybe are in the module, some film clips eventually. We're going to be we'll be linking into different manuals that we currently have. So when we're in one section on goaltending, maybe we're going to take that participant or coach by a link into another section. So, and the other thing that we're doing is we're building it to be changeable and movable and pliable each year. So we're not going to have to do big rewrites anymore. Because of how Dana's putting the book together, we're going to be able to move and adjust. And as IT changes and technology changes, we're going to be able to incorporate a lot of different things into the manual. So we're really excited about that. The committee did a great job. Staff did a remarkable job. They still have a lot of work to do, as we know, getting ready for September 1st. So that's a little bit of what's happening with the manuals. Mark, anything else you want me to touch on? Okay.
No, that's good. Next, I'm going to have Ty Newberry discuss our PowerPoint presentations in the clinics.
Good morning. Thank you. I'd like to start off by thanking El Bloomer and Mac and the national staffs for allowing me the opportunity to be part of this exciting changes with the coach and education program. Currently, I'm on a committee that's co-chaired by the Atlantic District Coach-in-Chief, Mike Lichtenberger. And unfortunately, he couldn't be here, but very fortunate to work with him. And in addition to our committee, we have Bill Cramp from the Potomac Valley affiliate, along with Mike Verbick from the CAHA affiliate. We've charged ourselves with a daunting task to put together a product that will energize our coaches to go out and further educate themselves, understanding and knowing that we cannot arm them with everything they need to be a successful coach in an 8-hour course. So to do that, we've made 3 pretty significant changes to give the coaching clinics a new and fresh feel. The first one is we are focusing on getting the clinics to be more engaging. In the past, it was more of a lecture. And with the new way of education and teaching that are being done in the schools is to provide a platform for the participants to be more involved in the course and keep them going. The second thing is we're planning on and we are working on including a lot of multimedia and videos. A lot of the videos exist in some of the products that we've put out, whether it be the off-ice training videos, the skills and drills, and there's a lot of good information that the NTDP has put together on the website. And third and finally, we're working, again, to focus on allowing the coaches to continue their education, that each topic that we speak on, we are concluding and providing everyone on where they can find more resources with recommended readings, recommended websites, and things of that nature. So it's a very, very challenging and fun opportunity, and hopefully the coaching section and USA Hockey will be proud with the product that we put together.
Thanks, Ty. The next thing, we're going to talk about the online age-specific modules. It's been a long, tedious project, and to be honest with you, we just finished up our 3rd video session this past week here in Colorado Springs. So we're probably, from a a taping or a video standpoint, we're probably about 9/10 of the way done. We have a couple more pickups here at the end. Actually, we're waiting on Eddie Olchuk. He's going to do the introductions to each module, so when the NHL season gets over, we'll be picking him up here in the next couple weeks. But for the most part, we're close. It probably now gets a little hectic and tedious for Keith Blaze, who's sitting next to me now, as the editing really begins and putting it all together and dropping it into the delivery system, which you'll hear about here next. But I'm going to just give I guess a brief overview, and I'm going to turn it over to Keith, and he's going to get more into detail in regards to the modules. On the slide there, I've actually discussed probably the majority of that. The one thing I didn't touch on, we've anticipated each module is going to be about 5 hours plus in length. And again, when we're talking 12, 13 chapters and the presentations that go with it, the series of test questions, the video, all the things that are dropped into it, it's a lot of hours, but at the same time, I think it's going to be very educational for the coaches, and they'll be able to come and go out of the module as they want, up to, we haven't decided whether it's going to be 30 days or less, but they'll be able to go in and out of the modules until they complete it, so they don't have to sit down for 5+ hours and knock it out in one setting. The way it'll be structured, you can only take one module at a time. Now, a coach can take multiple modules in a given year, because we do have coaches out there that do coach several teams throughout the course of the year. So those coaches will have to go online and take the modules that correspond if they're coaching, a couple different teams. The one question that we have been asked, we do have hockey directors out there that are working within their local associations, and if those hockey directors are working with all 5 levels of play, realistically they're going to have to go on and take all 5 modules based upon that. That's what they're doing for a living, obviously. I did touch upon that they'll be up and running September 1 through December 31. I know Keith will touch upon this, but a lot of the presenters and presentations, people that we've utilized within the modules, a lot of all of our ADM regional managers have been heavily involved. USA Hockey staff members in the office. We've utilized numerous NHL coaches, collegiate coaches, and there are people within the modules that are experts in their field, whether they're coming from long-term athlete development, nutrition, sports psychology. So I think we've tried to cover all the bases within the modules. Some of the things that will be in the modules, there will be a printable workbook within each module that'll outline all the chapters more in depth than even the presentation, so each coach will be able to download those. There'll be practice plans for each module. Again, there's testing at the end of each chapter. We're using numerous clips from our skills and drills DVDs that we've put together, whether they be on ice or off ice, utilization of animated drills and whiteboard graphics. So I think it'll be very, very involved, and I think the coach is going to get a great experience. So I'm going to turn it over to Keith right now. He's going to touch upon a few things and actually show you a demo here of some of the things we've put together. It's not even close to being done in its entirety, but it'll give you a little bit of snippet of where we're going and kind of what it looks like. So, Keith?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I'm going to try to focus a little bit on the learning experience and the learning environment we're trying to create for the coaches. We're actually pretty jazzed about this project, and in particular what we think will be the final outcome. We've got a tremendous amount of really good content, and we're, just as Mark mentioned, in the process of starting to assemble all of these different modules and age-specific lessons. So I think it's going to come together really nicely. as Mark mentioned, we've got, and I won't get into the details, but quite a few experts in the various fields giving the presentations, so I think it's great. And they're covering everything from long-term athlete development to small area games, practice planning, training and conditioning, team concepts, skill development, nutrition and sports psychology, drugs and alcohol awareness, sleep, concussions, goaltending, and we've even got a women's and disabled section module coming online. Disabled will come on, I think, next year, right, Dan? 2012, and women's along this year with the rest of the modules. So a lot of good stuff there. I'm going to kind of let the video do most of the speaking here, but I guess what I want to kind of point you to is many of you may have taken the online recertification in past. We've made a number of improvements to the delivery platform that allow, we think, for a better learning environment. And I think those will be evident when you see the video clips. We're able to manipulate the video differently in terms of, you know, big picture, little picture, where the whiteboard appears for the text and the animation and graphics and things like that. And I don't want to embarrass Digger, but we used his introduction here in its entirety because it was so powerful. He did such a fabulous job. And I think it really gets to the heart of what the online, you know, experience will be all about, and the age-specific modules. So why don't we start there, Allison?
Welcome to USA Hockey's age-specific training module, designed to help you help young hockey players develop skills and a love of the game that will last a lifetime. My name is Ron DiGregorio. It's been my privilege to be president of USA Hockey for several years, as well as being a player, coach, administrator for over a half a century. There has been so much growth of the U.S. game over the last many years. We are blessed with many rinks and many dedicated volunteers and professionals who work tirelessly in providing a fun and learning environment for our youth to grow with the game. We all know about the recent international achievements of our teams, recent successes in the NHL drafts, and the increased respect internationally of many of USA Hockey initiatives, such as the National Team Development Program. We also know of the growth of our adult programs, women's programs, and the programs for the disabled. But most of the games sanctioned by USA Hockey are games played by youngsters in the youth division. Recently, USA Hockey had its 8 and under registration swell to over 100,000 joining our ranks, and as importantly, we have seen encouraging upticks in retaining players after age 9. Therefore, it makes sense that much of USA Hockey's coaching, education, training material, and support is geared to youth hockey and those that serve our youth hockey game. That is why I'm so excited about the American Development Model, ADM for short, which was designed around long-term athlete development principles, proven successful principles in childhood development. The science behind these principles and the ADM provide important guidelines on what and when is the best time to focus attention on general athletic skills as well as certain sport-specific skills. Hockey requires so many athletic skills as well as so many hockey-specific skills. It just makes sense for our youth coaches to understand these guidelines and apply them when working with our youth. So, for the first time, USA Hockey is providing more training and support to our coaches and players on the optimal period to train for general and specific skills. USA Hockey is providing more support in what to do and how to do it more effectively. I encourage you to go to our website, www.usahockey.com, and connect to our coaching and ADM links. You will see some of the tools we are bringing to the table are new, others are repackaging of successful training techniques and fun games to foster the best hockey experience for your players. What is so encouraging to me is that these techniques and games are great for teaching and reaching a player's potential, whether the player becomes an NHL star or not. You see, USA Hockey wants to encourage the potential in every player, encouraging a lifetime love for the game. One new aspect USA Hockey is bringing to the table is a revamped coaching education program, including the age-specific module that follows shortly. It just makes sense to have the ADM and the coaching education program tied together, because knowing hockey is only part of being an effective coach. Knowing the child and what is best to maximize the potential of the child is as important, if not more important. Again, each youth is potential. The age-specific training module you are about to hear is designed to give you more age-specific information on how best to tap and grow your player's athletic potential. In so doing, we believe it will foster a fun and learning experience for you and the youth player under your guidance. Remember, it is how the young player views the experience that is fundamentally important. It is that view that presents the foundation for growing lifetime skills and a lifetime love for the game. You are so important. Coaches are the backbone, managing off-ice and on-ice childhood development. You are the catalyst for skills and confidence that helps a player experience and enjoy the game for a lifetime. I often say that there is a lot to like about USA Hockey. You are part of what there is to like about USA Hockey, coaching and leading our youth in a positive way through hockey. You help make hockey and the youth playing it healthy. I hope you enjoyed this module, and it helps make your experience working with our youth even more enjoyable. Thank you for all that you do.
Now this is just going to dovetail into a couple of the brief presentations, snippets from them.
I'd like to give you a little introduction as to what we're going to cover during this segment today. The American Development Model is an age-appropriate hockey experience. It's based on sports science, long-term athlete development principles that have been used around the world by high-level hockey-playing nations, as well as many other sports. Very, very successfully implemented around the world. What a 6 or 8 year old needs is vastly different than what a 16 or 18-year-old needs. By that, I mean the length of season, practice to game ratio at each age group. What type of game format are they playing? At 8 and under, we strongly believe cross or half ice is the right game format. At older age groups, obviously it's full ice. How are you selecting your teams? How many players are on those teams? Those things all vary, whether a young man or lady is 6 or 8 years old or 16 or 18, as I said. Ultimately, this model gives each athlete the ability to reach whatever their potential is.
Let's get into some of the specifics about implementing small games at 12 and under. At the 12 and under level of using small games, it is critical to really step back and allow the decision-making and creativity of the individual players to flourish without interruption or resistance from the coach. At this age, hopefully, they have developed a fairly high level of skills that will allow them to experiment with some more complex small area games that mask some of the situations they will face in games. This is where more complex concepts such as support, transition, and more complex team play and system strategy can come into play. Here are some examples of games for the 12 and under level. Our next game is called the breakout versus forecheck game. What we do is we take our cross-ice zone and we put a line down the middle. You can use a cone or just designate a zone, split it in half. I like to bring a marker, a Sharpie marker, a big one, and draw a line right down the middle so the kids understand that there's a half for each of them. And what happens is I put 2 players out on the ice. It's a 2-on-2. But what happens is the team that gets possession in their defensive half has to make a play. They have to make a pass in their half of the rink before they can attack the other half and play 2-on-2. We're trying to execute a breakout play that allows the players to transition from the defensive zone to the offensive zone. As a coach, I can dictate what type of breakout I want, and then as they get better at this game, you can progress, add a third player who's now forechecking, which forces the breakout players to be more efficient and better support off the puck. So white cannot pressure the breakout. We have a breakout, pass up the middle, they play, now they're playing 2-on-2. Okay? Now they're playing man up. Make that pass in your half, White. There you go. Nice breakout. Good. Change. Give me 2 more players from each color.
Now, Allison, if you can go back to that home page real quick. Just hit the log out there. All of this is coupled with workbooks, as Mark mentioned, and maybe we can just click on that workbook link there and scroll through that pretty quickly. It's just, you know, another resource for the coaches. It's downloadable. It'll include an awful lot of material that supplements the presentations, as well as drills and place to take notes and things like that. So that'll be an added bonus as well. In addition to that, there'll be animated drills available, practice plans, all of which are age-specific and appropriate for the coaches. I don't know if you can get onto that animation real quick, Allie, or just a quick example of an animation. These will be at the end of each of these chapters, and they'll pertain to the specific elements that are being taught during that particular phase of the lesson. So, again, this has been I can't emphasize it enough, it's been a very collaborative effort on the part of everybody at USA Hockey, not just the people that are up here, but many other people involved in the office and the volunteer staff, and we're really looking forward to the final product. So, thanks.
Thanks, Keith. Allison Rains is going to touch upon the delivery system and usahockey.com changes.
I think one of the things I'm most excited about are the changes to our website. We are creating a usahockey.com/coaching, in essence, coaching portal to all things coaching related that a coach needs. It'll be similar to the existing coach's landing page, but it will entail everything and everywhere a coach will need to go. We'll have a section for rules and requirements. They'll access coaching clinics from here. They'll access the online age-specific modules. They can access the level 3 recertification from this page. And it just ties everything together in a way that we haven't done before in order to make it an easy experience for the coach. One of the things that Mark touched on for the online age-specific modules is that you do have to be a member of USA Hockey now in order to access this USA Hockey material. It is a great member benefit, it's great information, and we want that to be a member benefit now. And in order to access that, you will use your USA Hockey confirmation code. Ray Briggle has worked with Flex Coach in making that feasible. We do know that there are some associations who we will work with directly to work around that. Ray and I will be in contact with you and getting that information to you guys as well. So if that applies to you and Ray knows who you are, we will be working with you, so rest assured there. Your information will be then pre-populated from that information from the USA Hockey database. So the whole matching up your name, your record, so to speak, all of those problems should be eliminated through this process. So that is something that's pretty exciting as well. And as Mark said, you can stop and come back at the end of each chapter, so you're not dedicating 5 and 6 hours at a time to that. And you'll be able to re-access that from the Flex Coach page if you bookmark that, or from that coaching portal page that I talked about earlier. One of the other main things that we're going to change, obviously, is the online certification list in order to track all of this information that we're asking coaches to do. We've talked with the coaches section and spent some time with Ray in coming up with a solution to make it as easy as possible, because there is so much information that you will need to be tracking for either yourself as a coach, or if you're a registrar or a team manager, to make it easy to look at. One of those things is coming up with a color coding system. And it's green, red, and the next slide is blue, only because yellow didn't really show up very well. So green, if you type in your name and you come up green, you are good to go for the season. You've completed at least a single age-specific module. Now, unfortunately, we can't say you have the right age-specific module for the age that you're coaching. That is still up to you and your roster and your registrar to keep track of. But we can say, yes, you've taken at least one age-specific module and your certification is complete, and your certification is up to date, or doesn't need to, if the level 4 or level 5 doesn't expire. If you come up red, then you, at that point in the season, coaching clinic season, so to speak, need to attend a clinic and complete an age-specific module. In the example, you can see, sorry, Cam, but you are expired, and so you would have to attend a level 2 clinic and complete an online age-specific module. Jim Smith, who took a level 1 or a level 2 last year, since it's only valid for one season, will now need to take a level 3 this season and complete the online age-specific module. So, you know, green is good, red is not, you need to complete both. Now there's lots of coaches in between who then fall into the blue category, so to speak. And that is either your level is incomplete or you have not completed an age-specific module. So level 4s, we know you don't expire, but you would need to complete an age-specific module. Then all of the other options of level 1, 2, and 3 certifications that we offer, whether your level 3 certification is valid for 2 seasons, so you're good for this year, but you need a module. If your level 1 or 2 is expired, you need a module. Or if you're a brand new coach and you've decided, well, I'm gonna take my module first, once you complete the module, it will show up here, but will still indicate that you need to actually attend a clinic, that you don't have the certification level that you need as well. So that hopefully will allow everybody to look at the list and on a quick view, see where you're at. If you look on the far right column, you can see there's also a view option. So when you click on that view option, you'll get an extended view of that coach's certification. And as you can see, I've been very, very busy this year, completing all of my modules and attending a level 5 that didn't exist, but this will only show the levels and the age modules that you have completed. So it's maximized under the certification. Because you can only recertify your level 3 twice now, we felt it necessary to show how many level 3 certifications you do have, so that if you've forgotten or you're not sure, you can say, okay, look, there's my 3 level 3s, I really need to go to a level 4 now. So we're trying to make that as easy as possible to answer your questions, hopefully before you even know that you want to ask them. And from that point, Mark didn't really touch on it much, but we are eliminating the actual plastic CEP card. And this information will serve as proof of your certification, which is why it's so important that it have as much information as it does. From this view, you will be able to print a printable CEP card-like piece of paper that will have your information. It will transform all of this into an almost, you can cut it out, laminate it, keep it if you want, but this will serve as your proof of certification now instead of those plastic cards. That will be, you know, heavily talked about in the clinics when you go, and registrars are aware of this change, and they know that this list and what they download from Cybersport is valid proof. And if you feel like you still need a card, if you have a replacement, you want a replacement card, you know, we still have a system in place to do that. So rest assured we can do that. But just on a whole, the cards were, you know, we've done away with member cards and just moving into this full electronic age that shows everything right there at your fingertips and everybody else's. So,
are there any questions?
Hi, good morning. My name is Chris Valeri. I'm with Mass Hockey. You made a statement earlier that come December 31st, the system will shut down. And I also ref. And so my question would be is, does your system, is it able to tell when an individual's CEP expired, and will the affiliates be told some way that a coach is no longer eligible to be on a bench? And how's that going to be policed?
I don't think that really changes from our current system. It's still up to the local association to...
So that through their records, they're going to be able to do it? Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
Again,
Yes.
I think a lot of this reporting that you just saw, you know, local associations are going to have to monitor it and stay on top of it as well.
I didn't know if your system changed that, you know, through technology and so forth, that a flag would automatically come up if something happened. No? Okay. Thank you.
Well, one of the things we are going to do, though, to help the coaches this year is there will be an email that's going out. Allison's working on it, working with Ray to get that kicked out through the system to let each coach know where they're at, where they need to go as they move forward. So that should help, hopefully alleviate some problems come December. Thanks.
Allison, two quick questions. John Coleman, an affiliate president. In the past, when a coach lost his card and was given a temporary card, he gets a new CEP number. Now, with this system, will the CEP number remain constant for the coach?
It should, unless he feels he needs to obtain a replacement card. If he has an attachment to having a blue plastic card and wants a new one of those, he will have to get a new CEP number, yes. But if he just prints out the information from the online certification list and uses the virtual printable card, it will stay the same.
And then secondly, that list that you showed, will affiliates or those in charge of enforcing be able to print in a searchable manner, let's say, search Virginia and print all coaches with that information?
You can do that from Cybersport, and you will still be able to search the online certification list by first name, last name, CEP number, city, and state.
But to do a list of all coaches in your affiliate, you would have to do it through Cybersport, and it would give that same info?
Ray can do that as well.
Okay.
I'm one of the associate registrars here in Colorado. I've got several associations that don't even roster teams until the spring. Some of them use natural ice, some of them use outdoor rinks. Our high school season here doesn't start till March and finish up till the middle of May. So shutting down the age-specific modules is going to be a problem for us. So I would ask that you either not shut them down December 31st or give us a way to allow certain coaches to get in and do the age-appropriate modules.
Okay, we can take that into consideration for sure.
Just to give you an idea of how many we're dealing with here, it would be roughly 100 coaches in the high school that come out of a club program that have coached Pee Wee or Squirt or whatever, and then they get asked to coach a high school team. And we know from experience that they're always glad to do it, but I need them to go through the module now. So that's kind of the numbers I'm dealing with.
If we do the notification ahead of time like we're talking about, will that help? And with you giving them some pre-warning of this is coming, will that alleviate some of your problem to get it done by January 1st?
We've tried, and to answer your question, yes, it will. But I know it's not going to alleviate all of it. This past year, I had about 20 coaches who had coached years ago, had level 3s that expired and got tapped to come into high school, and I had no way to get them certified. So,
we only have time for one more question, and we'll take it here. But if anybody else has any questions, we'll be right outside the doors, and you can corner us at that point.
Judy Sheldon from Mass Hockey. I'm a hockey director for a local program. I have a technical question about administration in terms of the level 3 recertifications. Is there going to be any way that I can look and see which of my coaches have already done the track 1 so that I know they're coming up for track 2, and then my program is going to pay for level 4s for everyone. I need to know when I'm going to budget that down the road. I'm in a state that everyone had to do 3 levels right when they're mites. So these are coming up within 3 or 4 years for me.
You know, we can provide the tracking that you need, in short.
Will it be through Cybersport or?
No, not through Cybersport. It'll be a separate report.
And who do we contact about that?
Well, I guess, yeah, through Allison, and then we'll generate it, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, just to wrap up here, obviously you can see it's a very exciting time for everything that we're doing, and hopefully it's going to, you're going to see it here September 1, and hopefully you'll have the same excitement we do. So thank you very much for the time.
Okay, next up is going to be the discussion about the rule proposal change on the progressive body checking program and the change of age for full body checking. So stay in the room and get seated, and these guys will get going in about 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes, and we'll get going on the body checking discussion. And then after that, there's one more session on a couple of governance changes, discussions.
Well, I may have a photocopied version.
I don't care. I'll get you go to work. I'll get you have it. Grab it. Thanks. Dave, you tried to go quick.
No, listen,
I was watching you go to your watch.
Relatively speaking, we're running
doing pretty good.
well. Only a few minutes behind. Hey, Kevin. The chart has governance not on until 4:45. If this thing isn't flying robustly, and Pete said he'd like more than 15 minutes. Okay. All right. But this is really critical. So, you know, if it's really going, then you can take the full amount of time that you have to. But the other thing is, if you get to like 11:30, and the questions are the kind of question you can answer one-on-one, you may not want to, because everybody should hear the opinion.
Right.
But you can always say, we'll take it time.
Okay. What time are we supposed to go to?
Well,
I have
you
it.
can start winding
I'll
it
set the
down
timer.
at 11:30. I'd like you to be done at 11:35, and then we'll get. No, governance. Oh, 3 or 4. So I can't remember.
I'm gonna go too.
Testing. Testing, testing, good. If I what? Walk the stage? Okay. All right, yeah, that's good. I haven't checked it yet.
So many. I'm just wondering if Bob really wants the space, if David and well, There's not much room for us up here now.
Well, put 2 or 3 around each table.
Yeah, that's all.
Do you need a check on the computer sound? Tell me when. Okay. I have no idea. These are the. Hey, Goose. Heard you having twins. Congratulations. That's awesome, Kevin. Hey, Goose.